So it's 4 o'clock straight up according to my Mac. Welcome everybody to the very first Friday at 4. Here we are, and soon there are going to be 4 people on here. I know that. So I'm going to offer you a link. Have you blabbed with this guy, Ben Requena?
I don't know that I have.
So anyway, I just put the link in the chat. He did this really cool. My buddy Peter's going to join us. Welcome, Peter. Anyway, so he did this really cool Blab tips thing, which I thought we'd start out with some Blab tips. And Peter's joining. I think it says he's coming, right? Anyway, so
sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Oh, there we go. There's Peter. Welcome. So we're diving into Blab tips here. Welcome, Peter. Peter's calling in from the Midwest. Where are you, Joel? You're in Denver.
I'm in Denver, but I'm originally from the Midwest.
Okay, cool. So the first tip is when you start a Blab is to go edit the description so that, because the @JoelCom and the @JohnComBridges are going to change are going to automatically be included. So I'm changing that so that our Twitter handles won't be there every time. State of social video, Hangouts versus Blab versus Periscope. Wait, it's funny to edit, isn't it? Have you seen that be a little buggy?
I have. There's been times I've gone to change the topic and it didn't take, and I had to do it again. Are you editing it by doing /topic, or are you trying to edit it in the actual where it says the topic? So I would do /topic. Oh, he just dropped out. Now it's my show. Well, welcome to the Joel Comm Show. We have commandeered it.
No, you didn't. I'm back.
Oh, he's back. All right. Never mind.
Nice, servant.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to... Is there not... Am I supposed to go edit this in someplace else?
So, yeah, go into the comment box and do /topic space and then whatever you want it to be.
All right. We're going to have 4 of us here in a second. Okay.
So Brian
so
G. Johnson in the house.
Oh,
What's
man.
happening, crazy people of Blabland?
It's Blabland. It's a
All
place.
right, so /topic, whatever I want.
/topic, and then whatever you want it to say, and that'll show up there. And for people, other command that we know is /Q if you want to ask a question, and it'll turn that Q into a little gray box that says question, and that's really cool to help it pop out so that the moderator and the other people on the chat can see that there is a question. 32 peeps here. We're ramping it up.
All right, so that's your first tip. Did it work? I did it. Change topic to state of video, blah, blah, blah. Okay, there it is. It did it. All right, so the reason we did that, again, is because if we would still have JoelCom, @JoelCom, @ComBridges every time people tweet out. But thank you, Peter, for tweeting, and everybody tell Little Bird. I'm going to tell Little Bird live now. So thank you, everybody, for tweeting us out. I got too many friggin' things, though. Sorry, iBird. So, Brian, we haven't met before. How are you?
Hey, it's nice to meet you, John. Where are you located? I'm in Colorado Springs, south of...
Another Colorado boy. I'm here in Northern California, just north of San Francisco. I've got a beautiful view of the bay out the window over there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm a little bit dark, but it's yeah, really, you should be. But anyway, so that was tip number 1. Tip number 2 was actually going on before Joel and I got on, because I had a cool custom graphic as part of my event. And somebody asked in the chat even before we started, how did you do that, John? And even I was so impressed with myself that even Joel Comm didn't know. But what I did was I changed my profile picture. Very simple. But as Joel says, and we can make this an official request to Team Blab, we would really love to do custom image for every individual Blab session, right, Joel?
Absolutely. And there's really, I would imagine that's something that they're probably already working on is in suggestions that way. Because, when I look at all my scheduled Blabs, it's, my profile picture is with all of them. And what I really want to do is feature the people that are going to be on my show and their picture on there, because if people are tired of seeing me, I want to show them the cool people that I get to engage with. Yeah.
So anyway, that's another tip. There is a URL up in the thing, and Nick, I am the Nick, is asking, is this just a Blab Tips Blab? And it is not. We are going to talk some big picture. So Joel, everybody, I think, not everybody on Blab necessarily knows Joel, but a lot of you do. I brought your book over here, Joel. Boom. Twitter Power. Although it's now 3.0, so I'll put my finger over there. Right, it is now 3.0. Yep. And you also have written a book about visual social media, which I want to get into later. Yeah. But what I wanted to start out with, I want to thank you. There you go. There's Twitter Power 3.0. So plug. This is just like Jon Stewart's show right here.
Oh my God.
That. Peter, show yours, would you? Oh, Peter doesn't have one.
That sounded dirty.
Oh, wow. I wish I knew there was homework to do here.
Hey, Brian, I'm going to hand you a copy of Twitter Power. You ready? Here it comes.
Yeah.
Wow, Blab is even more impressive than I thought. I thank you, Joel Com, for introducing me to Blab, because I think that it is totally awesome. And my first question, my first question for you, when you did that, you said, I'm spending way too much time on Blab, except I think it's a good thing. And we know our guest next week, Zane Avitan, is going to be also really fun. Next Friday at 4, she's going to be the special featured guest. But, she said, I'm not getting any sleep. I'm doing too much Blab. I've heard several people on Blab talking about being addicted to Blab. So tell me about Blab addiction, your state of that, and whether you think that's a good thing or not.
Didn't Robert Palmer write a song, Might As Well Face It, You're Addicted to Blab?
Yes.
Had a bunch of women dancing behind him with red lipstick and playing
lights
guitars
are on and
stuff.
You're not home.
I think Brian G, I brought you in here too, right?
Yeah, it's all your fault, man. Everything was going good. I had a life and everything. I got things done. I was productive. I was a member of the Universe Society. Now I'm just a member of the Blab community.
The Blabosphere.
And Zaneology is in the house. Zane. Yeah. Well, maybe we'll get you in here later, but definitely next Friday.
Pam Brossman's here too. She's using Blab really well, and my Phil Marchand from Social Media Examiner's here, and Sterling Valentine is here. My friend Mark Jones is here. Shout outs to y'all.
Tweet it, y'all.
Look, none of it is a waste of time. Because the way I see it is, it's an opportunity to make social even more social. Blab is what Google Hangouts failed to be. They're getting it right in so many ways that it's so easy for us to hop on and engage and be involved with people. Hangouts was so buggy and required tutorials to get people to use it. And this thing, you jump on, the program launches. If you want to grab a seat, you click, the moderator brings you in, and boom, you're here talking. It can't get any easier than that.
Yeah, and my experience also is that they're like real conversations. It's like going to a networking event, but where it's more fun and geography doesn't matter. But they're real, authentic relationship building conversations going on in a way that I just haven't seen it before.
Well, Nick just said, I don't know, the iOS app is pretty buggy. I want to show everybody something. And when you see this, you're going to be very forgiving, because we're getting to use this site and this technology for free. Am I pointing in the upper left corner right now? Because my camera's reversed. Look up in the upper left corner where it says Blab. What does it say right after Blab? Beta. This is a beta. We're beta testing.
Oh, yeah, we know. It's a small company making a massive difference.
That's right. So let's be forgiving and gracious and grateful that we get to use this.
Oh, and I'm impressed how stable it is, that we haven't seen any bandwidth issues that I've heard about, that they're so open and transparent. They're on Blab all the time and we talk to them. I want to talk a little bit about Hangouts and in terms of, I stumped you guys on the Blab talk show because I said, what about lead generation? And, I am going to make a social media prognostication here, but I really want all you guys to chime in the chat too, because it's like the old world school of thinking was that you had to get people's email to give them access to your content. And what's going on Blab is kind of like this open book. But, I use Google Hangouts within Webinar Jam, and I'm getting lead capture, so I get emails so that I can follow up when people get my precious premium content. This has opened up the doors and is like the Wild West. But what about lead generation, and what about this as a marketing tool and so forth? How does that fit within the ROI question?
I'm going to defer to Brian G. Johnson because he wrote a book which I had the pleasure to write the foreword for called Trust Funnel, and it's all about this very thing. So, Brian?
Well, if you insist, first off, honestly, John, you kind of mentioned as far as the old way was to have a gate up, right? Like an opt-in or something. And for me, I think by just sharing good stuff, as Joel would say, and adding value to people's lives, they're going to want more anyway. It's just going to naturally happen. And in the future, who knows what's going to happen? Like Joel just mentioned, it's beta. Like there might be a few bugs, absolutely, but we have an opportunity to grow an audience. So for me right now, while I'm actually thinking about January, I'm kind of doing some rebranding, launching a new website. And there will be some things and some ways I use this in the future to bring people onto a webinar. Like, how about the pre-webinar show? What about the warm-up band before the webinar, and then push them over, and then bring a few extra folks with you? You know?
Yeah,
I think just
And Peter, you should give up your spot if you're going to participate. But otherwise, I want to get a woman in here. You know what I'm saying? We need to be even. He's gone.
We're an equal opportunity blab.
And there's
here.
And there's Pam. Here we go.
And
I stated my intention. So Brian, did I interrupt you there?
A little bit, but that's okay. That's all part of it. But anyways, at this point, I'm just really trying to make connections, and I'm having fun. And I want to create a show that people want to attend, and that's really my focus. And what's come of that, though, is already I've established friendships, people that I want to hang with. Yeah. I was asked to guest a show in a few days. Someone wants to talk to me about how I wrote my book and how I was able to catapult, do a crazy great launch, and do these different things. So it's already working, because I think at the end of the day, more than an email opt-in, we're trying to create connections.
Yeah, and I tell you, last night, I'm going to answer my own question in a way, but I was watching Pro Blogger and Michael Stetzner, is that how you say his name, from the Social Media Examiner, and Michael said they got signups for their conference off of blogs. So very much what you're saying, Brian. I think that there's a real relationship building on-ramp that doesn't have that distance that the gates have.
You know, I'm not trying to make sales here, but I've noticed, like, people ask me what my mic is. And so I set up a redirect and I tell them what my mic is. And I just checked in today, and 2 people have bought a Yeti from Amazon because they asked me what my mic was. They see my Do Good Stuff brand on my sticker, and people have gone and bought Do Good Stuff T-shirts. They see my, where is it? There it is. My ka-ching button, because I use it sometimes in my shows. And they're like, I want one. So I send them a link and they go buy them. So it's not like it's not a pitch. It's just really the best of like me, know me, trust me, pay me. It's relationship oriented, and people buy just because they want whatever it is you have, not because you're pushing or selling it.
Yeah, that's how I've been using it, Joel, too, because this week I've just been providing content and training, and where I would normally from social media drive people back to an opt-in box for them to, get on my list, I'm not about doing that at the moment. I'm about building relationships on this platform, and I'm driving people here, and I'm just giving them downloads, free content downloads. They're grabbing it and then telling them, look, all this content's in my book. If you want to go and get it, it's over on Amazon. If they go, they go. And guiding them into my competition, which I'm running at the moment. And that's all I've been doing all week. And I've gone from 40 to 360 followers in just 7 days.
Wow.
Just by adding.
It's happening. I hear you. It's really impressive. And it's sort of like that. I'm kind of projecting out to the bigger picture that I think that there is a shift in the wind. Yeah. I was talking to a client.
I thought I smelled something. Website. What was that?
It's the Bay Area.
Here it comes. If you get him started with one of those damn fart jokes, it goes on. Go ahead, Joel. I gave you the perfect.
No, I set this one up. I know he doesn't get to do fart jokes.
When you least expect it, expect it.
But anyway, I was doing a website for a client, and the traditional model is that we're going to give you a free download and you subscribe to the email newsletter. And I'm like, the idea is that you want people to get to know you. And so if you gate it, everybody is sick of email newsletters and subscribes to too many anyway. give the stuff away because the point is for people to get to know you. And
what
Blab,
I'm doing,
people get to know you.
Yeah, and what I did this week that worked really, really well, I don't know if you guys want to do it. I wanted to test if I could use it for training, like a Hangout. And I asked permission at the very beginning and it said, look, guys, I'm going to lock the seats. I'm just going to do training for 10 minutes, pure content. And then I'm going to open it all up and you guys can jump in. Is that okay with you? And they said, go for it, Pam. We want to learn. And then I just ran with it. So they were happy and I didn't have people coming in. I could just give the value and then open it up for questions at the end. And it worked really well.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. The only thing that Blab doesn't do, as I understand it, is let you go private. No. So if there's sensitive, confidential material, then you can't do it because anybody can watch. But
that's not what you're going to do. You're doing it for just saying, hey, I can actually help you if you find this valuable. People are just saying in this tweet, Pam, how do I get the download? How do I watch another replay? They're just asking for it. You send them where you want to go, and that's just your call to action.
Right. Yeah, no, I get it. And it's different as things are changing, but that's the nature of the web, as it's always changing. Yeah. And like Joel said before, it's just becoming more social.
Now, I'm not going to plug this stream, guys, because I know there's lots of people who like to get in and out of you guys. Thanks, Joel, for letting me in. I'm off to go to the country, so I'll see you guys next week on Blab.
Nice to meet you.
See you. Lovely to meet you all. Bye.
Hi, Pam. Good to see you.
Yeah, so hit that tip that we did before, /Q. That will set
your question.
And that'll set your comments apart as questions so we can answer them.
I came upon a little play on words today. As I was thinking about social media and looking at the layout here. This 2x2 is a Foursquare, and it made me think of the Foursquare app and how we used to check in with Foursquare. But now Blab is the new Foursquare, and this is where we check in because this is where the relationships are built. This is where it happens.
Yep, and anybody else wants the open seat, they can get it. My other question that I want to ask in terms of the big picture about the state of social video is, to me, this is like a Periscope killer or, Periscope meerkat. Because the problem with those are, hi, Mark. Mark is going to join us. The problem with those things is the only interactivity is off of the chat. And it really is kind of like a one-to-many broadcast model. And what is fueling the fire here is the fact that we're doing this collaboratively, or you would say collaboratively. Right. It's real community and real conversations with real people.
Sean, Sean VP, the guy from Blab, in one of the 75 Blabs I was in today, said that he heard the founder of Periscope say that what they really are is not a live cast, they're a life cast. It's about you showing your life to other people, one person showing their life. This is live casting. This is conversation. And that's where he said they're trying to stand out, trying to distinguish themselves from things like Periscope.
Yeah, good luck with that. I mean, it's fine, and there's room for everything, and you can always do lots of different things. But, the glue here and the way people, I mean, how many Blabs did you say you were on today?
Oh, I don't know.
It's like,
it feels like
people are, that's the fascinating thing. You're not alone in that people are staying on Blab for hours and hours and hours.
I did in the comments earlier, I did hashtag Blab beard. Here it is. 48 hours, no sleep, no eating.
Yeah, I mean, and what I'm finding is that it has that staying power. It's like the longer conversations are actually, it's unlike YouTube where people go, okay, make your video 2 or 3 minutes. People are hanging out and having real conversations, which is a whole different thing. Mm-hmm. Blab is a new diet. We have a comment. Welcome,
it's a new broadcast channel. What's really interesting, John, is that myself and Vincenzo Landino have been doing Blab Talk Live. It's a late night format that really focuses very little on Blab and more about entertaining and informing and engaging with people. And because we're doing them later at night, we've discovered that we've got people in their PJs in bed, right? And they're watching us instead of streaming Netflix or Hulu. because they're enjoying the process of engaging and watching people they know more than just playing another TV show. And so what we're going to see are that creative broadcasting, people who come up with shows, this becomes a new channel that people will be tuning into their favorites, just like you subscribe to your favorite YouTube channel and watch your favorite shows on Netflix. This is a new channel, and that's what Blab, I think, really intends for it to become.
So yeah. Somebody's I mean, it's like it's what social networks were always supposed to be, and to some extent are, but it's truly a social network. I mean, that's what's happening. People are meeting people, making new friends, and networking, right?
So, Joel, we were in that chat earlier. Why do you think people are having such a hard time distinguishing Blab from the mono videos, from the Periscopes, the Hangouts, and all the others?
I
like that mono video. That's a good term.
It's just education. They just don't know the difference. They hear streaming video and they lump them all together and don't realize that it's apples to oranges. Periscope, Meerkat, Hang With, Facebook Live mentions, those are all apples. And within the Apple family, one's a Granny Smith and, one's a Red Delicious, and there's variety within, but they're all apples. This is an orange. This is a totally different, I'm stuck on the fruit now, but this is what this is. And until they're educated and recognize that this is something totally different, they're going to just be on the periphery. That's why we're pioneering this. When they come on board, we can call them the early adopters, and then, of course, we'll have the mass adoption.
So do you think part of it, because this is what I think part of it is, coming from the entertainment background, and then I'm going to jump out, is Joel and Vincenzo do an excellent job. I missed the show the last 2 nights because you guys haven't been on, and with Tyler picking it up, it's an excellent thing. You guys are actually hosting. Do you think I think a lot of it is the brand marketers that are here, who were the first group here, and slowly the entertainment podcaster type people are coming on, is that the brand marketers don't have that hosting experience. And I attribute why I like your show so much is that you actually, both you and Vincenzo, actually pay attention to the comments. And I know you say you do it, you don't do it as often as you like, but you do it more than everybody else. And what I've seen the last two nights in some Blabs is that that's a big complaint right now, is people aren't feeling like they're interacting. And we had that guy today in your earlier chat.
Well, I mean, if people feel like, look at me, there's 43 people in here and everybody can't be paid attention to, because the people you got a host who's focused on providing an experience and content, and he's got his guests on here that he wants to engage with. And there's always going to be people that feel like they're invisible. And if you're not in a seat, we can try to engage with you, but hopefully people are forgiving and understand that the expectations need to be that they're here to participate, at least by watching.
Yeah. I think part of it is because Fanzo tried to get me over here early and I didn't come over. I think part of it is people don't understand that they can do this /Q to draw the host's attention to the chat side.
Right, that's why we're saying that. Yeah, I'm going to throw in one comment. Zainology said that she, vis-a-vis watching TV, that her DVR has become full because she's not watching it anymore.
True. All right, guys, I'm going to head out. Thanks.
Thanks,
all right, Ed. Thanks for coming by.
Brittany's here. Brittany Blab is here.
Can you guys?
All right, let me.
Can you guys hear me?
There was a question went by in the chat, and I know it's a common one. They asked how you shared your screen, Joel.
Oh, I'm
using. I don't think you really shared your screen, but go ahead.
Application called ManyCam, MANYCAM, and it allows me to actually do some pretty fun things like transition between some graphics I've got loaded up here. Also lets me do a countdown clock that I can put on screen and do some pretty cool stuff with, including changing the color on it and stuff like that. So there's a free version, and I think I paid $20 to have more features. Yeah, there's also lower thirds.
Rich is showing off his skills. Is that ManyCam too, Rich?
Boom.
Yes, it is.
Very good.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, we hear you.
Just want to say, because I got to leave here in about 2 minutes to pick up my daughter, and I made a comment that one of the things about this Blab is I'm learning how to use an old Lab Tech mic, and because of this, like Joel was saying, he's suggesting what type of mic. I can't. That's sort of high end, but it's making me go out and buy an updated mic so I can engage a lot better. That people that are receiving me part of the communication, so I'm a lot clearer. I'm learning about all these settings and whatnot, and that is interesting. That's what this thing, the internet, it's teaching us. So I just want to throw that in and want to say hi to Joel and
hey, Rich.
I'll be hanging around on the Blab.
You know, he's right. I keep ordering new gear to up the ante. So now that I've got my Yeti, I've got it on a standard, tripod here and a boom. I don't like the way it sits. I want one that's on like an elbow boom that's adjustable, kind of comes down. So last night I saw somebody who was using one, and right there I went and ordered it for $20. I should have it tomorrow. And so my set continues to change and my gear continues to evolve. And Sterling Valentine is coming on. Sterling, I need to introduce you to this guy, John.
Okay, good. Let's do it. So one question went by in turn. They're saying that the Minicam Pro is $49.95. That I think I saw the same thing, not $20.
Let me take a look because I'm actually using this on a PC, though I have plenty of Macs. I bought this on a PC, and I thought I saw,
it's 50 on the Mac, but it's 50 on OS X.
Yeah, it's 20. It's 20 on a PC,
and lacking the countdown clock on OS X. So for the first time,
it's a Windows thing.
It's the first time I've ever
$20. $20 on Windows and 50 on the Mac.
Yeah,
there you go.
That's pretty brutal.
John, pleasure to meet you, my friend.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Sterling. Welcome. Did you have a question or a comment?
Well, I just wanted to make a comment first. Thanks for having Joel on because he's one of the thought leaders in this space. Everybody should be following Joel because he's already ahead of the curve and planting himself firmly in this space. But
what did he pay you to say that?
No, that's just the truth, Jack. That's the way it goes. If you want to see what's happening, just follow Joel.
I'm just joking.
But the challenge for everybody is engagement because ultimately Blab is about Blab. We're going to get tired really quick. So we're all walking around. Look, this is great stuff. But eventually, how can you, the viewer, engage your audience? This is the key question because we've left the era of high tech, low touch. Email is high tech and low touch. Hangouts, we're still gated in a way. YouTube video is really one-sided. It's a monologue, not a dialogue. But Blab really has, I call it the blabularity. Joel, you can throw that into your lexicon if you want. But we've crossed the blabularity here where now dialogue and engagement is standard. It's egalitarian. It's expected. So the question becomes, how do we develop our soft skills? How do we not get pissed off if we don't get noticed in the chat? Like, come on already. Really, it's so like fifth grade. How can we engage the audience? How can we set out challenges and questions and engagement opportunities so that if you're a chiropractor or a dentist or a thought leader or a social media expert or whatever, what can you do to pull in your audience and give them a seat? Not just like, hey, join us if you want, because they don't know what to do. No, can we create?
I think can I answer that?
Yeah, please. And then Joel, that's the conversation that we should be having. So please, by all means.
Yeah, I have a basic Internet Marketing 101 book, and I do workshops, and the concept that I talk about all the time I call leading with value. It's all about contribution. What can you do to make a difference? How can we serve? I'm not just here to blab about the video technology. It's really how do we make our businesses better, make our lives better, make better connections with people. Because when you make authentic connections, when you lead with real value and help people, then you get engagement and you build relationships. It's all about, at the end of the day, the goal is long-term, sustainable, authentic relationships. And that's
exactly what you're doing.
We have a winner.
Makes the business go right. Okay, give me the feely love. I want Joel so ahead of me in feely love.
Okay, so here's one of the terms that has been placed into the official Blab lexicon. It's called prop bombing, and prop bombing is when everybody in the room bombs a person. So everybody prop bomb John Leland right now. Just prop bomb him, everybody. And show Sterling some prop bomb love too.
Oh, I went right by Joel in 2 seconds. I got prop bombed.
So, John, you're doing exactly the right thing. You're having a conversation about something, and you're asking people to join. So I just think I'm going to jump off. I want to encourage everybody who hasn't been on before, just jump the hell on already. Don't be afraid to. If you have a question, jump on. If you have a comment, jump on. Just jump on already and get involved. These guys are really open, and they're caring, and they're not going to bite anybody. So I look forward to seeing you again, John. It was really nice.
I bite a little.
All right, thanks, Sterling. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on. Take care, everybody.
See you, Sterling.
Hey, Joel. My name's Owen. I've been following you for quite some time. It's nice to be on Blab with you. How you doing?
Well, the pleasure's all mine. I'm glad to meet you, and you got some cool shades there, my friend.
Thank you so
we
much.
Got pro blogger Darren Rouse in
you know what I'm saying?
Here, I want to be as cool as Owen. So
Yes.
I wish I had my sunglasses.
All right.
Here first, folks. Joel Comm wants to be as cool as me. And
I do.
Darren, you and I are brothers from another mother. You're rocking the scalp thing, and I love every minute of it.
I do have
another stylist.
A little bit there.
Owen, did you have a question or a comment, or I'm going to say hi to Darren?
I had a question about getting the @ tag when you tag somebody's name to get it to go purple.
I think, is that the reply thing, Joel?
Yeah, so basically next to everybody's names over here in the chat window, you see a star, and when you click the star, that's like a giving props to that comment. And right next to that, to the right of it, is the reply. So if I click right next to Brittany and say, yo, 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 so now you can see that it tags @ Brittany Metz, yo, yo, yoy.
Okay, so I see Brittany Metz as she just tagged me, and I'm in yellow over here on my mobile. I see @Joel Comm, and you just tagged @Brittany Metz, but her name is not highlighted.
Right. So what you'll notice is that the 4 people that are in the seats each have a color. So I'm seeing John is blue, myself is yellow, you're red, and Darren is green. Now, it might be different depending upon where somebody shows up. I don't know how that works. Brittany might be able to answer that, but it calls attention to people that are on screen. So if I just type something here and say hello, like that, then you'll see my name shows up in yellow because I'm in the yellow seat.
You're the yellow box man.
I've got,
Oh, and I hope that helps.
Great.
I want
That's
to
very
actually
helpful.
move the conversation to what our subject is.
That's like my big thing is I'm getting a call.
Yep, his connection's a little glitchy.
I think you're on mobile. We lost you, Owen. Hey, Darren.
Good to meet you, Owen.
Yeah, it's really a pleasure to have you on here, Darren. I've been following you for years, Mr. Pro Blogger.
Thanks, John.
For people that don't know Darren, he's one of the kind of like original blogger and how do you make blogging a business? Is that a fair way to say it? And
yeah, that's
the full picture. And
that's where I stick my name on. But my main blog is a photography blog, but I don't put my name on that as much. It's not a personal brand, that one. So I make the money off the photography blog, and then I talk about how I do it on Pro Blogger.
And is it Saturday? You're in Australia, right?
It is Saturday morning. The kids are watching cartoons. I've got a 15-minute window, so I thought I'm jumping on Blab to see what's going on.
Great.
And of course, Joel Comm was
there. What's that?
Of course, Joel Comm was there, so I thought I'd jump on. But I thought it was really interesting. I only caught the tail end of your conversation before, but all I've found in terms of Periscope and Blab, the ones that I think have connected the most that I've watched is where someone's come on with a real, almost like an agenda or something that they're going to walk people through and really more intentional conversations. And I've only done 2 Blabs so far, and one was kind of like me giving a keynote, and then I opened it up to Q&A, and it went so well. People were taking notes, and then when the conversation opens, people picked up that thread, and so it really worked quite well. It's the only one I've done though, so I've got nothing to really base my learning on.
It makes a lot of sense. I did 6 months ago, for about 6 months, I did something I called the New Media, New Marketing Playground, and I did it via Hangouts. But the big issue was, how do I get people wanted to interact and ask questions. I'm also thinking about doing a course about video authenticity. And this is a perfect environment where people could actually demonstrate presentations and talks that they wanted to do, and then get coaching and feedback, not just from me, but from other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I did the same thing over on Periscope. I actually got my phone and actually gave a keynote and had the phone on my slides on my computer. And people just loved that, and then flipped it around for Q&A at the end. So it was a lot of fun. Hey, Steve.
Hello. Yeah. Don't you think, Darren, that this is much more interactive and has kind of a much more dynamic component? I'll throw in also that there are people doing multi-camera setups, like it's being done in music, but you could have one camera on your slides using one corner of our quad here. And, Yeah, go ahead.
Kind of reminds me a little of Ustream. I don't know if you used to use Ustream, but I used to do Friday beer with Darren sessions, and I'd have 3 cameras going on me and from different things, and then I'd share my screen on another one, and it was kind of like a little television studio going on. But the potential was just amazing.
I think we're going to see a lot more of that here in Blab.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's one of the biggest weaknesses compared to Hangouts for me is I love all the technology in Hangouts, being able to share my screen. Steve has gone multi-camera within the multi-camera.
Oh, man. You guys have got to teach me how to do that.
There are a lot of technologies. You don't need an extra app to do the lower thirds, but that's not to say that I'm not sold on Blab. It's just I do miss the ability to share my screen because I like to do demos and show people how to do things.
Well, and it's coming. We know that they're working on it. It's, the team here is incredibly responsive, and Brittany's here, and she just says we aren't opposed to that in the future. It's just it's a small team, and they're doing one thing at a time, and they continue to improve it. So I'm certain that they're listening to the users here, and in fact, they listen so well that look what I got in the mail today.
Mine's coming.
Oh man, how do I get one of those?
Where's ours? Come on.
We got 49. I deserve it.
Brittany's here. Brittany wants to come in. She says that she can drop some insight on that. So,
Brittany's.
I'm happy to.
All right,
I'll drop out and let Brittany.
Good to see you, Darren. Thanks for
coming by, Steve. Great, Darren. Nice to meet you.
No problem. No doubt I'll see you again.
Appreciate it.
All right, so Brittany hopefully will be able to update us. Hi, Steve. How you doing?
Thank you. I think the T-shirt's probably coming today if yours came today. So yay!
Brittany, come drop some insights on us.
She's coming in, Joel. I'm expecting her right now.
So, Brittany, did you happen to notice the anti-gravity blab that happened last night?
I did. We have a whole Slack channel where we just put screenshots of cool things, and it made it to our internal Slack channel.
That is awesome. Let me see if I have a screenshot of it here. Somebody posted it.
How do I qualify for a T-shirt? That's the important question.
So our T-shirts are actually showing up to our office on Monday, so I'll be shipping them out. I have to get Ship over here so they can help me mail out a few hundreds of T-shirts.
Yeah, you're getting props for your headphones.
Oh, people like I had to buy cooler headphones because I looked like a dork.
No, it's not the headphones.
No way. So when are we going to have screen sharing, Brittany?
Okay, so it's not when because we can't give you a promise. We don't want to promise you guys anything. So
I was being a little facetious.
Well, we have a lot of people coming in from Google Hangouts who are used to an old technology and doing things a certain way. And we're not opposed to adding screen sharing in the future. We think it's definitely needed because it does change conversation. It helps conversation move along. The fear is that if we just implement it very quickly and not that it'll be broken, it's that it'll be done in a way that isn't intuitive. It doesn't help conversation. It changes content. So we really don't want to just throw in the first thing we do without really thinking through adding screen sharing as a feature, because then it could turn into a public webinar and everyone will be it changes the content so drastically that we have to be very careful with our features and make sure that we do it in the smartest way possible. But we do see screen sharing.
That. I think that's great that your team is being so thoughtful and not just running ahead just because everybody's saying we want to screen share, but you have a bigger vision. And I think you were in here, Brittany, when I was sharing where I thought this was going, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you see this as a network. This isn't just about the community, but you guys, you're wanting to see original programming coming out through this channel. Is that correct?
Yeah, we talk about the takedown of the talking heads on television a lot. Because it's time for it to change. It doesn't make sense that we have to watch the same people all the time and you're being forced to hear the same opinions because we are very opinionated. No. And Yeah.
That's a good thing. I love that.
It's amazing. Thank God.
You know that picture's upside down, right, Joel?
It's not upside down. That is a screenshot taken last night on the world's first anti-gravity blab, and everybody was floating upside down in this particular blab. So you could tell that it is because look where the names are. That's how you know.
Magical things, and we went like this, and it worked.
All right.
Don't give away our secrets. We were in space.
So, Brittany, I want to ask a quick question.
Yeah.
We, Joel was impressed that I had a custom graphic for this event, but what in fact I did was change my profile picture. And is there a correct resolution for those images in the profile picture when you do it yourself?
I think it's a 500 by 500. So.
All right. I'll give that a shot because mine was definitely bigger than that.
Yeah. So 500 is kind of the max. So if you fit it there, but it's a square, so it'll crop in the card. So when you design it, you just kind of, I think you can, I can see your little icon. It looks like you already factored that in.
No, mine, no, it was big and it was square, but it was a lot cut off. And when you look at the event window before, when people were registering, it was pretty horizontal. It wasn't square.
Yeah. So it cuts into a rectangle for those cards. We're going to come up with an uploading your custom cards for shows and things. We didn't want to add it because the feature wasn't necessary because no one had shows. So as we start
now
to
we
see,
do.
So
this is going to be
see,
Fridays at 4, and Zaneology will be with me next Friday at 4. Just put in a little plug there if you don't mind. It's a show.
Yeah,
but I don't have a T-shirt yet.
We definitely don't want to build features before there's a need for it. So the more shows that start to come out, the more necessary it is to allow people to brand their shows. And if we were to build that feature, it'd be really stupid because we'd be like, and here's where you open your show card. And everyone's like, I don't have a show though. And
I want this to show up. I want
Mr. Joel Com.
Because this is something that Vincenzo and I are doing. In fact, I'm really excited because I just confirmed we're actually doing a show tonight at 8:00 Mountain, 7 West Coast-ish, and what is that? Then 10 on the East Coast. And I just confirmed for Monday night my first celebrity who's been a regular on a primetime TV show confirmed, and he's come. I'm thinking.
Are you just doing secrets, or are you going to tell us who it is?
I'm not going to tell you who it is. I'm not sure how I want to do this yet because what we want is for people to come to the show because it's our show, and they trust that when they show up, they're going to get something good. Just like people who will turn on, Jon Stewart every night, or they'll turn on Jimmy Fallon every night, and then they trust that the host is going to give them a show. So rather than promote who's going to be on, we want to basically train people to say, just show up and we're going to show you a good time. So Monday night, I've nailed down our first. As
a former broadcast promotion guy, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying Monday night that you're going to have, movie star X.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be Star X. That's his name, actually.
All right, we have a question for Brittany. A friend writes for HuffPo and might want to do a profile piece on Blab. Who should they talk to? We're getting back channel questions. I think talk to Brittany, right?
Not necessarily. We're not really putting out anything into the press right now, so we're not doing any write-ups and stuff while we're in beta. Not to say people haven't done write-ups and then we just don't say anything, but you should reach out to Sean VP. And
is his handle at Sean VP?
Yeah, so just send him a DM on Twitter and he'll kind of respond to you maybe similarly. I'm not sure where our head's at in beta right now, but people are writing their own stuff on it all the time.
But so you really look at this as still under the radar from a PR point of view?
Not under the radar.
Beta.
Yeah, it's just beta. We're still working through some stuff. We're making sure it's stable and going through stability testing. And if we take off that beta, should be stable.
Let me push back a little bit there, just in a friendly way. I'm not trying to be argumentative, but you can still have beta up there and tell a business story to HuffPo or to Fast Company magazine, what have you, about this phenom. You're going to keep getting asked because this thing's growing like wildfire, right? I mean, I want to know what the numbers are, but
I kind of like that, John. I like that there's a wall that they're saying, hey, we're here. Anybody can come use it, and we're not ready to talk yet. And that to me creates a little bit more mystery than if they're just opening wide up.
What's funny is we've been talking a lot. So if you want to hear anything about Blab, there's probably like a week's worth of recording of our team on Blab talking about it. So that could be an interesting article. But don't pull anything I say. Like, don't take any of my quotes.
I said it earlier before you got here, Brittany, but this thing is crazy stable. I mean, I don't think Hangouts was anywhere near this stable in the early days. And the recordings, as far as I can tell, are pristine. I mean, it's like I've seen other technologies like this that I've tested over the years, and your recordings are so solid and complete. Everything's open. There are people already putting them on iTunes and other places. It's really cool. It's really good job.
Right now we're working on the next version of replays. So because we don't have like the UX from like things don't look the same. We don't have real-time commenting yet. We don't have the squares cropped out with names in it. But those are all things we're working on adding. So the replay will be working on V2 and then also like V2 of embeds. And that's great. We have a lot of really exciting stuff that it's like, okay, we could scrap beta. There are still some mystery bugs, and there's a lot of troubleshooting we have to do when it comes to Chrome being set up. So kind of,
and I know I saw it. I guess it was Sean VP the other day, and I don't want to lose this question going by in the chat here, but talking about one thing that really is drastically needed is when you share into social media, and it just gives you a little Blab IM instead of taking the image and posting social media. I know they're talking about that. What about passing the hot seat is one question. I'll scroll back and get that other one.
Yeah, so we're not going to do like a pass the baton sort of thing. There's no reason to keep a Blab open for the rest of time forever. But we will do an assigning co-host. So you can assign a co-host who has the same kind of power and can let people in. That's something we'll do. But
great. The other question was about being able to track engagement with Google Analytics. Obviously, you can do that if you take the recording and embed it on your own page. Anything you're going to build into the app for that?
Oh my God, our CTO loves analytics, and he will be putting in probably more information than any of you guys even want. I'm just kidding. It's probably like everything you want. But we love numbers and data. You want to see how retained people are. You want to see like how long did someone stay? How many loyal viewers do you have? Like who are your main viewers? Who comes back to your show? Who watches it all the time? Then you have a way to reach out to them and say, hey, like you're like my number one viewer. This is great. We want to give you that insight.
Boy, that sounds great.
It's going to be great, and I'm very excited for it. Yes.
And you can't say anything about it. Is that a week away or a month away or 6 months away?
It all depends. It's really we're working on stability. So stability's first. Focusing on stability way before new features, because if we add new features, we're going to have a bunch of broken crap everywhere. Then we go into usability and make sure that the product is still intuitive and easy to navigate, and it just gets like, then we do like different weird features and stuff. And then,
Another question from the chat is, when is the Android mobile version coming in? And I'll say that it's very cool in terms of listening to shows. Obviously, you can participate too, but that you can watch on an iOS device. I watched the other day on my iPhone while I was moving around, but the Android people are feeling dissed.
Yeah. So
any idea about when that's coming?
So again, it's the stability. We're building this whole product and working in beta in Chrome. So we're testing things, we're adding features, making sure it's solid as a product, making sure new features we add are things we can build simultaneously. So instead of building all these together and then things change or something gets weird and we have a half broken version of Android, half broken iOS, half complete web, we're going web first, and once it's stable and ready to go, we're going to add in Android. Our developers love Android, and it's going to be beautiful. So it'll be worth the wait. And instead of us sending you a broken Android that you guys are going to be like, this is broken, just hold off, and it's going to be beautiful.
You guys have been doing a good job with that, I have to say.
It'll be worth it.
Hey, Carlos, good to see you.
What's happening?
Carlos Gill in the house.
Good to see you, Joel and Brittany. We meet again.
Yep. Just saw you at like 1
Did you have a
a.m.
question or a comment there?
What's that?
Did you have a question or a comment? Or are you just jumping in to say hi and be with us?
Yeah, I was just jumping in to say, hey, I saw that you guys are crushing it on this stream, and a couple people sent me DMs on Twitter telling me to jump on, so just want to come hang out with you guys.
Good to have you. Yeah, I mean, so I'll throw the conversation a little bit in the Twitter direction, and that obviously is one of the features you guys have done really well, Brittany, is this. And thank you, anybody that wants to tell a little bird on the left side there about what's going on. I'm glad the buzz is out there, Carlos. We're doing good.
Yeah, it's really cool when you see now that, you know, the cross-pollination effect, right? So I'll be on Facebook, I'll be on Twitter, and just everyone's sharing links, and you can't miss a Blab, even if you tried to. And I had to turn off the notifications on my iPhone just because I was getting pinged all the time. But
right.
You know, now folks are hitting you up on Twitter DM, and you're constantly seeing and stream of tweets. So it's really amazing to see that take off.
Yeah, I mean, so Joel, you're Mr. Twitter. We'll flash your book again. I'll cover the 2.0 because it's 3.0. But you know, that's Joel's book, and you know, how do you see? It seems like Blab is good for Twitter, right? I mean, it's like even though they're the Periscope
reinvigorated my Twitter account. In fact, let me see if I can get a screenshot for you, and I'm going to show you using Twitter Counter what's taking place since I started using Blab. All right, let me pull this up for you here.
All right, I'm going to hop off. But
thanks, Britt.
Brittany, so great to talk to you. Thanks a lot, and I'll expect my T-shirt real soon.
We have secrets to talk about.
Great.
Yeah.
Hey, let me throw something out there, Brittany, before you jump off.
I have to get off.
Here's what I was going to say. If you guys could have any sort of integration where you can watch a stream within a tweet, in fact, I think if any one of these platforms figures out how to crack the code, that would be amazing.
The code is Twitter owning you and doing that. There's no real code to it.
Well, there you go.
But yeah.
I guess we won't see it anytime.
I think Twitter's going to buy you guys, Brittany. I'm sure that's been talked about.
Who said we're going to sell?
That's right.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't, but that was. I tell you, one conversation. I was telling somebody how much I love Blab and how great it is today, and they went, "How much does it cost?" And I went, "It's free." And and they go, I said, that company's going to get bought. They're not worried about the revenue right now. They're growing a user base.
They're funded. They've got money. They have a bankroll. This is they've got plenty, and they only have a team of 12 right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
what if they have a team of 50 or 100?
Because we'll never have more than 30 employees.
That's your commitment?
It's just something we live by pretty early on. We'll see how long we can do that.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Everyone's
we want these features and we want them, yes. But while you're doing it, congratulations. While we have you, a couple of technical questions that I saw go by. I'm pretty certain that one tip is that it does not work well in Mac Safari. And somebody else was asking
Safari doesn't support. Yeah, sorry. Safari doesn't
support the kind of video that you're doing, right?
Mm-mm. So
and what about Firefox? Or the question about Firefox?
We're not optimized for Firefox, but it should work in Firefox. But I'm going to hop off because there's secret talk happening.
You recommend Chrome. All right. Nice to see you.
So you can see right here, this is the light blue line are my Twitter followers. And it wasn't flatline before then, but the one in the lower left corner, that's the day I started on Blab. I've now been on 13 days, and boy, time flies while you're blabbing fun. See what
Absolutely.
I did there?
While you're blabbing fun, I got that. So and the blue line was the other line was your Facebook followers. Is that right? But we know it's not just about followers; it's about engagement. Hi, Bonnie, how you doing?
Hi, good to be here. So I just wanted
Did you have a question or comment?
I have a comment. So I just wanted to talk about Blab and how Blab is good for all social media platforms, not just Twitter. So my LinkedIn situation looked very much like Joel's Twitter in terms of the amount of people who were following me on LinkedIn and also were looking at my profile immediately spiked when I started Blab.
Right.
The same thing happened when I started Periscope. And Blab, just to give you an idea, I mean, Periscope, obviously, it works well with Twitter, but all of my social media stats have increased from Blab and from Periscope both. Literally every single social media platform, and I'm on 10 of them. So it has a very far reach. Also, when I did a Blab earlier on, maybe I'd been on about 4 days or so on Blab, and I did a Blab with Karen Yankovic. And from the day before I did it to the day I did it, my Twitter reach increased 20 times. 20 times from one Blab.
So-
and I know that it is from that one
let's-
Blab because
let's
there was
talk
absolutely nothing else I was doing differently.
Okay, so Joel established with his chart, and you're established that you made the point it's across all social media. So what's the engine there? Because I'm seeing the same thing too, by the way. And I think that we get visibility that has engagement and authenticity. Would you all agree with me on that? But let's ask Joel's opinion first, and then Bonnie, you can follow up. Joel, what are you reading?
I'm sorry. Did I miss the question? I thought you were talking to Bonnie.
You did. You did. You weren't even paying attention to
I'm
me, dude.
multitasking.
You multitasking.
Not very well.
Not very well. I'm singularly tasking because I thought that she was asking you a question. Fail.
No, so we're talking about that. You just showed your chart and how it's growing. Why? That's
well, as far as Blab goes, because people are following me here, and of course, when you follow somebody here, there's also the opportunity to follow you on Twitter. So it just seems like it's a logical extension of it.
Yep.
Yeah, I take it to another level though, because I think that, and Bonnie, you go next, but I have to kind of toot my own horn. I'm always talking about video, and I've been talking for years. Really, I got a video about why video on YouTube, why video is a must-have. It's not an option. And my point is that when I look into the camera, and people get a sense of me, that there's a relationship possibility that doesn't happen with text, doesn't happen with pictures. And what's fueling that growth in Blab is that people get to see me, they get to see you, they get to see you. And if you like the person that you're seeing and you get that they have valuable information, you naturally want to follow them. So it's a kind of visibility that YouTube was not able to provide. YouTube's good, Facebook is good. I'm not dissing any of them. But somehow these Blab conversations give us exposure that seems quantitatively different, that they're engaging. It isn't just that there's a Twitter connection, because as Bonnie's pointing out, it's happening to her on LinkedIn. It's happening in other places. Go ahead, Bonnie.
Yeah, well, and I was just going to say, yes, I mean, it is definitely happening across the board. And you need to look at, that tell a little bird blue bar over there is extremely powerful, because this is a nonverbal cue, guys.
He understands the reverse layout.
We'll click it, they'll click it, and keep in mind, all 4 of our handles are in there every time. So it gets repeated, and it gets, it gets retweeted, and it gets favorited, and it gets passed along, and then somebody will, check out your stuff. And then, for example, like John and Joel, you guys have been in here the whole time. So your handles and this information, have been retweeted and favorited God knows how many times since you started. And then a few other people here and there, right? And that's what happens every time. So think about it. It is literally exponential growth, and that's just through Twitter. Then you start to look at, like, every time that I'm on a Blab, I know I'm going to be on a Blab on Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific. I'll put it on LinkedIn. I'll put it on G+. Yes, I still use that. I will put it in Facebook groups. I will put it on my Facebook business page, on my Facebook personal page, and on and on and on.
She's everywhere.
Are you uploading the stream?
Well, and I did the same thing for this new Fridays at 4 program. I put it on LinkedIn. I did not do Google Plus, but I should have probably. But I also did it on Facebook, on my Facebook page, as well as obviously on Twitter.
Right, exactly.
And thank you everybody for telling the little bird on the left. I really appreciate all these tweets.
Hey Bonnie, I'm really curious to know, are you sharing your streams to YouTube? So the saved video file, are you uploading them to your YouTube channel?
I'm not sharing my blabs to my YouTube. My blabs, the 4 best blabs I have are on my Biz Cafe, which is a membership site.
Got it.
And then I have my good Periscope on my YouTube channel, and the best of the best are on my membership site.
Got it. So
are you doing that, Carlos?
I am. So actually, last Friday, Jessica Merrill, who's a top insider in the HR and recruiting community, we started doing a job search lab, and we did our second today, and it's all about helping professionals in their job search, right? So as soon as the file came my way from Blab, I uploaded it to YouTube within about 5 minutes, and I immediately went to Google to search the title of our Blab, and the video was already indexed in Google search results. So
well, we know that YouTube is the #2 search engine in the world, right? So it's like, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah,
Carlos.
absolutely. And then
I like
within the description of your YouTube video, you can put a link to your Blab. You can put links in there to keep people coming back to see your upcoming Blabs. And trust me, if you go on there right now, because I did this yesterday, just out of curiosity, I typed in Blab in the search results on YouTube. There's not a lot of videos that are tagged Blab. So again, great opportunity for you to just jump in and be able to benefit off the fact that everyone's talking on this platform about this platform, but on areas like YouTube, they're not really talking about it, and the content, you're already creating it. So it's not like you have to reinvent the wheel and do something new. Just take this content, throw it on YouTube, and it takes you all 5 minutes.
Yeah, and the big thing that I see over and over again that I want to kind of, first of all, I think that's a great idea. I've been thinking about, and I know there are people that are taking the recordings and going as podcasts into iTunes, but putting it onto YouTube makes a lot of sense. The thing that a lot of small businesses don't do is to optimize those YouTube clips so that you have keywords in the title, like you just mentioned. Make sure you have good links within the description, because it's the #2 search engine in the world, but people don't do the same attention to detail to optimize their YouTube clips the way they do with their blog posts, for example. So do that. And Carlos, I think that's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, John, I've got to bounce off here. And
the Joel Com is leaving. We did an hour.
I know time flies when you're blabbing fun.
All right. Well, I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for being here. And obviously, this was hot. Plug your show. What else you want to
join myself and Vincenzo Landino tonight at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern, late night. We're going to have some fun. And thanks for having me on, John. And great to see you, Carlos, Bonnie, and everybody over here in the Blabosphere. We'll catch you later.
Yeah, all 57 right now. Thanks a lot, man. I'll talk to you. I'll throw in a side comment, which is that I met Joel at Robert Scoble's birthday party. He had this big extravaganza birthday party, the tech journalist, for those of you that don't know. And I also met Zainology, who's going to be with us next Friday at 4 Pacific. And we're going to be talking about personal branding. She's worked with Grammy Award-winning musicians, the #1 golfer in the world, Jordan Spieth, all kinds of people. So very cool. We'll be talking about branding and Blab, and she's not getting any sleep and not watching any TV because her DVR is full anyway. And Zane, if you're still here, I don't know if she was here earlier. Yeah, there she is. You can jump in and say hello and talk about what you want to talk about if you want. There she comes. So, yeah, so I think the world of video never is going to be the same after this. Everybody agree with me there? Hey, Zane, how are you?
Hey, what's going on, Zane? I just want to point out real quick, I just put it in the chat, a link to a tweet that goes to the YouTube video I was referring to from today's Blab.
Oh, that's great.
So again, you're creating the content here. Think of this as like a real-time content hub for video. You take that video, you put it on YouTube, and now you have content. I've already shared it on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, you name it. So again, just want to throw that out there.
And of course, you have the recordings that you can do as well. I mean, that here on Blab, those links are easy to share socially.
And what I would also recommend,
make it part of a YouTube channel.
Yeah, what I would recommend is if you're a guest on someone's show, like Joel was just a guest for about an hour, is send him the video also, because Joel has reach and he can throw it on his YouTube channel as well. So
yeah, or share the link too.
Exactly.
Right? So what's up, Zane?
Hey, I was just watching. This is great.
Yeah, Fridays at 4. Everybody needs to be here. 4 Pacific, whatever your time zone is. It was great. We had Darren Rouse coming in from Australia. He's already in tomorrow.
Hi, Bonnie.
Hi, Zane. Good to see you.
Wherever you are, that's really nice.
So Zane says that she and I met at Robert Scoble's birthday party, which was the same time that I met Joel. So anyway, it's like, but that was networking, and so is this.
Yes, it is. It's the same thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so one of the things that Zane does that Joel was showing us there with his graphic that, and Joel has a book about this, is the whole visual aspect of the web and doing promotion, doing custom graphics. I'm a big fan of Canva, by the way, as a tip that if you guys all use Canva or like
Absolutely.
Love Canva. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you need to do graphics. You need to promote your Blabs and promote everything else with images all the time. And are you using Blab for all that cool stuff you're doing, Zane? Is that are you?
Well, I'm loving that I have people I can talk to, or that my love is showcasing other people doing cool stuff, right? Because a lot of times people don't even realize what they're doing is cool because it's their own little thing. It's like a little bit different. So I'm kind of in the mode now where I'm seeking out things that are a little bit unique, a little bit different, so that it kind of makes people realize that their passion doesn't really have to be mainstream, but it's really about finding that. And so this is a perfect channel to find somebody who's fabulous or interesting, not necessarily famous, but doing something really cool that you can highlight. And my hopes, like my subconscious hope, which I'm saying out loud, is that people will be like, oh, I totally have this thing I never do because I'm supposed to do everything normal, like work for the man, do follow the book, the 10 tips, the whatever. But they might have this little thing inside that really is a little bit different. Mm-hmm. And so hopefully seeing somebody else doing it a little bit different way would kind of spurn them on to, follow that little part of them that they're thinking they have to leave behind. We grow up and we think we have to be responsible to the way
I talk about that as authentic voice, and I don't think it's a little thing at all.
Yeah,
as a communications professional, we both, I think, work with people of how do you communicate more effectively and engage people. But there's also that whole conversation where people are not following their muse, doing what they really love to do.
Yeah,
and that, for me, that's part of the Blab thing. Is this is like about as much fun as I can imagine. It's like I love connecting with people and meeting people. Bonnie and Carlos, I think I've seen you before, but I don't think we've met. And Bonnie, I know your name for sure.
It's surprising because a lot of folks that I've met here, met through video, I've been following for years on Twitter.
I've never got to spend this much time with Carlos before.
Right. Great that we can actually do this, and it kind of brings that relationship full circle. And, one of the things I wanted to throw out there is, and this is, for everyone, keep in mind, relationships don't just live on a platform, right? And that kind of goes back to why everyone's Twitters right now are just blowing up. Because I want to engage with all you guys, not just on here. I want to follow you on Twitter. I want to see content that you're sharing. I want to link up with you on LinkedIn. So I think, again, Blab becomes that gateway.
I want to interrupt and clarify because I think I understand what you're saying, but I don't think everybody would get it, is that our Twitters are blowing up because of the interactions and the friends we're making because we're blabbing.
Right. Well, and also the UI thoughtfulness that they did that's so convenient to click through without losing the window. Right. The Twitter auth, which is convenient. Obviously, some people are even setting up Twitter just to get on here, which is nice. But
it's nice for Twitter.
I love that when we're new like this and we want to. A lot of the people's names are like Bonnie Frank is their name, Carlos is their name, but there's some people whose names are their brand, but not their first name. So it's like, oh, hey, what's Fun Zone? What is your name? So you kind of sometimes click through in order to find the name, and that you don't get lost. I think that there's so much thoughtfulness in the early beta UI design that just naturally growing our networks because it's a sequence that's perfectly thought through. I think that's another thing that's brilliant about this team, honestly.
Yeah. You have music playing. Somebody has music playing in the background.
I was going to say, I see Ross.
I'm in a coffee house. Sorry.
I
can hop out. I'll hop out.
Hi, Bonnie. Great to meet you. Thanks for coming in. And bye. Great to see you.
I see Ross Quintana in here. If he could get on, that would be amazing. I've been following Ross. We're friends on Facebook. We've been connected for years now, and again, this platform really humanizes social media connections. It's awesome.
I mean, I had 5 minutes.
He's got the T-shirt, man. He's got the T-shirt.
Oh, that's cool. I'm underdressed. I'm Blab.
Okay, what's up?
Hi, Ross Quintana. What a cool name.
Trucker. Going trucker on it here. High rise hat.
You know, true story. I was at Blab's office last night until about 1 a.m. and I went on a hunt for T-shirts, and all they had was smalls.
That's when you just.
I didn't walk away with a T-shirt.
You just gotta go
you're here in the Bay Area,
at that
Carlos?
point. Squeeze it in there.
Yeah, but it's not about just getting more followers on Twitter or whatever social network. It is the fact that it's really truly social, and that we're making friends and meeting new people. It's kind of like, Ross, I've seen you on Blab before, but I don't think we've ever talked to each other directly. So it's nice to meet you. You know, it's like a brother in the party, whatever. It's like at least Zane and I have actually met in person.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing to get on, and yes, this guy over here, if he's over here, every time everybody points, they're always pointing the wrong way.
Yeah, you're pointing the wrong way. At least on my
screen. So you have to do whatever you think it is. Do the opposite.
That's Carlos. Yeah, you were pointing.
Totally resonates with my whole brand and personality. Anyway, so trying to get on with Carlos for a while. So
give me a high five.
Yeah.
I want to ask a question to the three of you on this theme. Because so there's a different thing about Blab, that people are connecting person to person. That I have that same feeling that we're making friends, that we're building relationships, and that there's something happening here that is different from the other social networks. I mean, do you feel that? And if so, how do you say it? I can't read that, Ross.
It's Southern Tier Brewing.
Well, here's the thing. We've always had the option to do this through Google Hangouts, right? But it was so difficult, and this is just so simplistic to hop on here and sign on with your Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Here's one of the things I think that
and the technology is like
one of the things I think that really make this work is that, like, if you were gonna, let's go do a hangout, it feels like, okay, well, let's schedule it, and then let's set part-time and do all this. Like, the low barrier of entry to me is really what's key, because what happens is you see somebody that you already are connected with, and then the seat opens up. So you didn't actually have to plan it. So if you break down the mechanics of what makes this special, actually, it's the same thing that Facebook had. It's part of their secret sauce that I see. I mean, I see it kind of differently maybe than some people do. But one of the things that was great about that is you could have a coworker you'd never really care that much about, or a friend that you're not that close with, right? But they'll be on there, and you're never going to call them up and be like, hey, that picture of your cat was really cool. But now that they're on Facebook, all of a sudden those relationships that would have just died are all of a sudden something that you can do. And that's, in a different way, what makes Blab special, is that it's like that way with video, because you might not say, oh, well, let's set up a time to just talk about whatever, but all of a sudden you see somebody and you're like, oh, I'm connected with them. I see them. I'm going to hop in. Maybe I'll get in the seat and we'll get a chat. And it was totally impromptu. And all those kind of secondary, and those aren't really secondary relationships for me. They're all the people I'm already friends with. So it's like time to take it to that next level. But in a way, it's the same mechanics of getting those secondary conversations and making them happen where they weren't going to happen. And so to me, that's one of the big things here.
It's totally cool. I was thinking about that in the old days. I used to go to PubCon. PubCon. Any of you ever been to that conference?
No.
So part of what was cool about it, and I'm sure still is, although I haven't been in quite a few years, is that people were always sharing information and being useful, and everybody was open and transparent. And that's what's happening on Blab. You don't have to travel to Vegas or whatever. It's like people are sharing information, being useful, and making friends. So, and the other, I want to say first, you heard it here first on the Fridays at 4 program, Carlos is going to do a meetup for Bay Area people, right, Carlos?
Yeah, absolutely. A Blab up.
A Blab up. Maybe you can use Meetup to organize it. Well, I think that's a great idea.
I wanted to say that I had about 5 to 10 minutes right before this, knowing that I wanted to be on here. And I saw a room that had a funny title, or whatever. I didn't know anybody in the room at all. But when I went in there, they were friends. So I said, I was just eating ice cream in my garage, and I just started talking to them. I knew none of them. But turns out one of the girls was Brittany's roommate, Courtney. and because I said, I noticed, I'm like, oh, hey, I'm your first follower, to these guys. And I said, were you already friends before this? And they said, yes, because I was like, are you friends now or friends before? So they brought a crew that came because they knew somebody, which in this case happened to be Brittany. So that's like the one to know. But then they let me have a seat, and I was just like, what y'all doing? But I mean, it's kind of stretching for myself, right? Because typically, I think a lot of us go into a room that we recognize a face. I saw some faces, but I chose to go into a room I knew nobody, and that's kind of a stretch for me. Like, I like that, where I can try to go meet a new friend or something, because I can.
It's what happens when you're at a party and
exactly.
you're chilling and you're with your friend and they're talking to somebody else, and then you start talking to somebody else there, and that would have never happened, unless that situation was created. And that's what's crazy about this, is being able to just have those actual real connections where you wouldn't even, and in a way, you know what? It answers the thing that wouldn't naturally happen. Like, that doesn't really happen in social platforms where I'm sitting next to somebody. I got to make a friend request if I want to talk to them. And then I got to, we got to start something. Like, the barriers are too high. Right. So all of those cool relationships don't happen. Whereas here they do. It's like, oh, boom, I just met so-and-so and his friend's in there. And,
that is, a lot of people ask me when I do social media workshops about, well, what's the difference between Twitter and Facebook? And I think you just did a great job there, Russ, of because Facebook, you got the friend request, you're basically dealing with kind of a closed network. Whereas everything that you tweet, obviously, including Tell a Little Bird promoting a Blab, it's open to everybody. Anybody can come on. Anybody can take an open seat, join in the conversation. It's got this social glue, if you will, or social chemistry.
Yep.
I don't think we've seen in a social network before.
So here's something I want to add. Now I'm going to have to actually drop off, guys, to go pick up my daughter from school.
We're running out of time here a little bit too.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
So here's what I want to say. So before, there was a gentleman by the name of Brad that was saying that he doesn't get LinkedIn because someone had brought up LinkedIn in the conversation. What you have to do is look at ways to leverage these platforms to reverse engineer social media. Use LinkedIn as a way where you're building up that network. But again, your network doesn't live on a platform necessarily. Invite people digitally to have coffee, so to speak, through Blab, right? So the same way that you would use LinkedIn to reach out to people, right, and then offer to meet in person or get on the phone with them, use Blab as that vehicle. And regardless of what you do, if you work in sales, if you're looking for a job, use this as the platform that you can stream and then double it up with your LinkedIn activity, okay, so you can get people off LinkedIn and onto Blab and chat face-to-face.
Well,
I really like the practical approach that you're taking to it, Carlos, and I couldn't agree more that, LinkedIn has some interesting stuff going on, and it also depends on who do you want to talk to. But if you want to talk to business people, LinkedIn is a different audience. It doesn't have this dynamic thing, but they're what do they call it? They're doing a thing that's kind of like micro blogging, where you write little essays and do those kind of posts. It's like I don't know if any of you all have insights about this, but I'm thinking that when I write a blog post, I should do some version of it, not only on my blog, but on Medium and also on this LinkedIn, whether you publish essays on LinkedIn that are like blog posts, they look really good. Is anybody else publishing on Medium or using those LinkedIn essays?
I think Medium posts are beautiful. It's the only post that I feel like I read all the way through. I don't know if it's all the white space or the design.
Well, and it's different, but the quality of the post is really good.
True.
For whatever reason, the contributors that they have there are really good.
Yeah. I use Flipboard a lot.
I've been trying to dig into that more, into Medium, and I love the concept, but I haven't.
Yeah, we're going to talk more about it. But Carlos, it's just I'm underscoring your point that it isn't just about being on Blab; it's about spreading your presence, really, and and hopefully the kind of service that you want to be, the leading with value concept that I talked about early in this Blab.
Finding people's subcultures too. Like, I'm a super comic book nerd, superhero, whatever. And so now when somebody who I've just met on Blab finds a room that's talking about superheroes or comic books, I get this little ping. We know we can just, it's like Avengers Assemble. Like we can just write somebody's name, and when somebody that we know knows that they've pinged us, we know that there's something that we're interested in, or something we should see, or somebody they want us to meet. And it's the same thing with the way Brittany. I think it's even like what Brittany taught us. Like, we just ping Brittany and she shows up, and we learned from that. Like, oh, that's how we can get somebody to like pop in, even if they're in another Blab. that we understand it's an important call, and like
Yeah.
bat signal. So I love that.
And Nicholas, by the way, I don't think that Brittany did share any secret code with regard to the T-shirts. So Zane, you and I, Zane is going to be my guest next Friday at 4 Pacific.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about both. She and I work with clients to help them have more video presence, to bring out their authentic voice. You do it from a little more branding point of view. I think I do a little more video direction, but we're going to talk about Blab from that point of view next Friday at 4.
Yay.
There's my guest next week. Little plug there. Fridays at 4. This really worked. I can't believe we've had 238 people so far, and we still got 40 people with us.
Something I wanted to tag on to that last thing that you were saying, as far as the platform goes, that's unique, I think, as well, is that when people like me and Carlos have been connected for a long time, that starts off with content and all this, right? And everybody kind of in the old blog world is like, find your voice and let your personality shine through. And I think that that's the thing, is that a lot of times people, they see your kind of your expertise, but it's almost sterile. It's like it's out by itself. And it's like, so people might go, hey, great, I like what he's saying. And I kind of get a little bit of a vibe. But when you get on there and you put that personal side, that's when, forget voice, like that right there, is voice, because all of a sudden that adds depth to your avatar. And so people see and they're like, oh, like I know that guy, I've heard his voice now. I know if it, like instantly all this other stuff pops off, like I like him, or he's smart, or he's funny, or whatever it is.
He's such a big dork. That's what,
it's like times 10 whenever you built it right and they like your content. It's a great way to say, oh, if you like my content and all that, and then bam, you meet them, and it's like times 10 on top of that, and it really takes the relationships to another level, I think.
Yeah, that's what I totally hear you, Ross. It's about relationship building.
Sure.
All right, my Blab family. I am going to have
to.
Thank you. Have an amazing weekend, and fist bumps, guys.
Yeah, you too.
Girl. Bam.
I need to do my nails.
Boom. All right.
All right, guys.
Yeah, I appreciate your contributions, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Carlos.
All right. Maybe somebody that has never been on a Blab before. Anybody else got a question that wants to take that open seat? You're welcome to jump in. Any other comments or questions, y'all? We just can't. So this is an hour and 22 minutes we've been on. I'm wondering, is there like, and a good crowd for sure. I know that.
Yeah, for sure.
I really appreciate everybody hearing all the tweets and all the comments and questions. But is there, nobody has established like, oh, Blab should be an hour, or Blab should be an hour and a half. I said Fridays at 4, but I never said how long it was.
Yeah, that's the difference. I think that's the difference from like broadcasting, and then like this is like you're sitting at a coffee shop or at the bar with some friends. Nobody generally is like, well, we're gonna all go out for 45 and a half minutes, and then we'll call it good. So I think that's why they end up running over, and people are like, hey, you're just hanging out, So I love that about it.
You see that comment, T-ville? They're asking.
I know. I was holding my computer. I was trying to get out more into the sun without.
You're holding the computer. They're worried about your arm getting tired because they thought you were holding a phone.
I'm holding my MacBook Air, but it's like holding a phone. It's so light.
Yeah, you're very lively there. I'm all stable and on it. I got my Mac
That's
up on it.
probably driving you all crazy, but it feels stable to me, right? I don't sit still anyway. I have a problem.
Yeah, once the phones get big enough, it'll be about the same anyway. So
yeah. I think my 6 Plus and my MacBook Air feel the same, honestly.
Exactly. Yeah. The phones, they're trying to get them bigger. The laptops, they're trying to get them smaller and lighter. So sometimes they're going to converge and.
Oh, look, Danny Boy Man 95. I am new, but I want to try. You mean like come to the open seat?
Yeah.
Come on down.
Oh.
Yeah, give it a try. There you go. Here he comes. All right, Danny Boyman. No, this is Daniel Volstead. Oh, it's the same guy. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the real name.
Yes, it's nice when you do both your names.
Yeah, exactly. So Danny Boy, here he comes, coming in.
Hello. If it's your first time, okay. Yay! Oh, hi.
All right, Danny, welcome. This is your first time on Blab, Danny?
Hi, you're so young.
You're young. I know. That's what I was thinking. You were like, oh, hi, meaning, oh, wow, you're younger than I thought.
That is definitely a Danny Boy man.
What up, Danny?
Where are you, Danny?
I'm in Norway.
Say that
Norway,
again?
sweet.
Yes, Norway.
Oh, Norway. Awesome.
Wow. This is so awesome.
Right. It must be late there, huh?
Yeah, it's like
Spirit.
in the night, actually.
What time?
3:30 soon.
Wow. And is
Yeah,
the sun still up?
Yeah, no, having a weekend, but I'm soon going to sleep.
So how did
As a
you end up?
mommy, you need to get some rest.
Yeah, really. We got to give him some props bombing here. So
Yeah,
you click on the thing, give
okay.
Danny some props bombing. There we go.
The first
so
day?
How did you happen to find this Blab?
Actually, I just saw a commercial on the internet and just checked it out.
Commercial?
And,
A commercial? Woo.
yeah,
I didn't buy any ads.
One of my people I follow on Periscope, Matty Boy Live, if you know him, use the app.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, he's cool.
So he said this is a happening Blab.
Yeah, and he just shared the link on Twitter and check it out.
Well, thanks, Manny Boy.
Are you on Blab for the first time today?
Yes.
Well, welcome. Nice to have you here. You have any questions or anything we can help you with?
No, not really. But what is the like things about on the profile when you can click on the clap? It's like hearts or something.
Yeah. It's basically saying, "Yay, way to go! We like you!" Boom, boom, boom. high 10, high 5, high 10.
Yeah, it's hearts, it's props. It used to be feels, and then people realized how creepy that kind of seemed.
Oh, they changed it. You've been around long enough, Ross, so you can tell it's the history.
Hey, lady, I've
a little creepy. We're all a little bit creepy.
It's like, okay, creepy
Speak
Steve.
for yourself, Zane.
I will.
I know you will. That's what I like about you.
So yeah, it's props, and it's just really pinging people and let them know that you like what they're saying. I hope they actually add. I hope that they add. I know that you can start over there, but I'd like to see if the actual when you starred the little name of who starred you popped up, because then you don't know like, oh wow, this person's been really loving my comments. You want to be able to thank them and know that. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to see it go from just a star to like a star in their little username or something. Because I had originally thought you should just have the props next to their name anyway, so you could prop comments and all that. I also think, one thing, I don't know, I don't think there's any blabber people here, but maybe they'll see this anyway. But it would be really great if, like, when you click there to reply, it'd be really nice, and maybe is that capability in here, but the people who are actually on the Blab in the video are the people are most likely to comment to, or they should. Right now there's a wall there. So you should be like, I want to click, Zane's name, and it instantly populates her username so I can comment to her, if I'm in there and all that. I think that because otherwise what happens, the conversation's moving, and you're looking up there trying to type, and then finally like, forget it. I'm just going to say their first name, but then they may not see it. So in order to get that little purple highlight so that they can see I'm talking to them, I think they need to add that functionality.
Are you on a desktop or a Mac or a laptop?
I'm on a Mac right now.
If you guys, go to hover over the name, as the star pops up in a little reply, and it's also on the mobile app as well now. So at least on the beta version. Yeah, try it.
I have an iPad too.
But I'm getting no pop-up. Let me see.
Yeah. Right now I'm on Brophy's name, and I'm just hitting the arrow, and his name came up, and I'm writing hi, but I didn't type his name. See? Not cool?
But Ross, the same feature you're talking about now.
You're clicking on it. You're clicking on it in the.
And he wrote me back.
Oh yeah, I was talking about in the video.
You mean like up here? Oh right.
Yeah, they're oddly right. They're oddly the only ones where you can't reply to and comment, which means that you've got all this conversation in the comments, and it's not crossing down.
All right, we're not doing it. I got it about it. So Danny, let's see if our new. How do you like doing this? How do you like Blab?
That's right, Ross.
I like it very well. My
like it well?
impression is very good.
How old are you?
I'm 20 years old.
Oh, very good.
Such a great age.
It's so cool. I love it. The first one that I did last Friday. I had people from Brazil and Argentina, a couple of South Americans, but this is my first European. We had Darren Rouse from Australia on this a little earlier. So it's a global family.
Yeah, that's cool.
Good to have you here. Okay, we'll come back soon, and hope we see you next Friday.
Yes, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye. All right. Anything else? Anything that we haven't covered? Any other questions? Anybody else? Any newbies that haven't been on Blab before we sign out, or any insights or questions about Ross's shirt is getting the props. Everybody's jealous for the t-shirts.
Drop the shirt. What up, people?
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'll raise one question about my Fridays at 4 thing. I just happened to do Friday last week spontaneously, and it's in a way counterintuitive. Like you would think you'd do a webinar at 10 a.m. or some kind of like more business time, but it's kind of like Friday at 4 is an interesting time to hang out and play, and
we're ready to goof off by then.
What's that?
We're ready to goof off by Friday at 4. I think it's like perfect time. Of course, it's 6 o'clock over here, but I would show up if it was 2,
Yeah, I know Joel was a big draw, but, we were up around 60, 80 people for quite a while.
Yeah.
So
he does such a great little variety show at night, so I enjoy it. I enjoy what he's doing. I enjoy the synergy between him and Vincenzo. I think that's really cute.
So they're doing it at 8 Mountain, 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern.
Yeah. And I did something called Blab O'Clock for the first time, and I invited Puerto Ruvian, who's the gentleman who introduced me to Blab. I think what's kind of cool is honoring that person who told you about Blab, So when I had an idea where I wanted to just like talk to people, and this might be like what is the show name of that particular thing, right? Blab O'Clock. And it's not even about talking about Blab, but oh, look, it's Blab O'Clock, time to get on Blab, which we're already here. So that's almost like funny, like we're already here. What are you talking about? But
yeah, no, it's just because it's just more interesting than watching TV. It's like
right.
I liked your comment before about your DVRs overloaded because you're not watching.
Every time I log in, I get that error. But I was already doing 0 o'clock. Remember, like 0 o'clock and just whatever it is o'clock. It's just a funny way that I talk, right? Oh, it's such and such o'clock. So it was just a natural progression of whatever I'm already doing.
The thing is too is that. The difference is there's a context, because when you're watching a show on TV, you don't know any of those people, and you're probably not going to know those people. So when you get on here, the difference is you can find people that you either know or people you want to know, and you can hop in and create an actual real-time relationship with them right then. And that is way different than TV. TV, you're just like a spectator, and it's like, oh, cool, you have nice hair, but I'm never going to chat with you. So, oh, you said something cool. Well, I'm not going to tell you what I think's cool ever. So, I think that's actually almost a model of the one-way communication. That's kind of the old school, like marketing, even, where it's like, we're going to talk to you, but we don't want to talk to you. We're going to market to you, but we don't want to talk to you. And I think that's the same thing is with watching content. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Well, no, I don't want to if I like what you say, I want to talk to you. I want to get in a chat with you and like kick around deeper of what you said. And I think that's what you get here.
Well, remember like when television tried to, on the first wave, integrate Twitter, even like the first time Glee did tweets that were on the screen and everybody was in an uproar. They said they hated it. And then now it's completely standard. Like when you watch So You Think You Dance or, The Voice and such. And now like the people in the seats, right, the chairs are tweeting and they show their live little tweet and people are so excited because they wrote them or whatever. It's kind of like the world catches up with itself, so to speak, right? At first it was horrible, now it's awesome, but it's exactly the same thing, right? So
it's just like Google Glass coming out. I was talking about that to a friend, to Joel Renner, actually earlier, about that in a way it kind of came out and it kind of got crushed. But it was really cool and everything was great about it. But then people were freaking out that someone might be recording me. And then they're like, okay, well, we're going to business with it. And then the next iteration of like, HoloLens or any of the augmented reality stuff, they'll be just fine. And the sad thing is Google will be sitting there going like, oh, well, we had to test the market. All of the kinks and things people didn't want, like, wait, it's too early. And then the next guy comes in and is like, okay, we love it. And that's kind of how Blab even is because they had live streaming. What up, the Popo?
The Popo.
Now, if I ran real quick, you'd know I did something wrong, right? I mean, that would be.
They're like, ooh, Zane is on the street.
New update for iOS peeps, really cool. Thanks for having me again. Yeah, Danny, it was great to have you. So at last chance I've been on an hour and a half. I think I'm going to take a break and go get some food.
We're just got to take a break and go right back into somebody else's Blab now.
I was supposed to be getting some work done, and I saw the Blab, and I was like, oh, all right.
I'm glad you did, Russ. It was good to hang out with you. So anybody that's never been on before, somebody else that has a comment or wants to be on, last chance for the open seat, come on down. Don't be bashful. Here comes Nick.
Here, Zane.
while we're waiting, I just wanted to say that the other night I hung out in a room where we had another window open and we played music together. And then we had the Blab in one window and a music room in the other. And that was so much fun. I stayed up till 4 a.m. because I love music, so here's another microcosm of
right now, spouses and employers they're going to hate Blab.
So, hey, Nick, how you doing? Where you going? Well, welcome to the what is it? Fridays at 4 Blab, and we're going to be doing. Zane and I'll be doing next Friday at 4. Where are you located geographically?
Vancouver, Canada.
Oh, nice.
Where are you guys?
Beautiful city. Looks like you're not looking at your camera though.
I have a really strange setup right now. I don't have a webcam, so I've connected my Android phone to the computer with this USB cable and this app.
That's really smart. That's actually very smart.
Yeah,
and
I had to find something because I just had to get on here. So,
is this your first time being on Blab?
No, I've been looking around for about a week. I've been on a few. I've made a couple just to see how it works and everything. I think it's really cool.
So, tell us about your name, Swanee10. That has a meaning somehow.
Not really. It's
I love that. Those answers.
It's just my first email that I made, and I just make that everything now. I don't really know how to change it so that I can see my
Gmail
name.
suggested Swanee10. He's like, if that's all that's left, all right, I'll take it.
All right, whatever.
now you own that little piece of the web, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I see you got the cat illustrations. Is there any grumpy cat illustrations back there? Or are those cats in general? Some of them look kind of weird cat.
Oh, somebody gave me that poster, and I was just I couldn't just throw it out, so I just threw it up on the wall.
I love that your first answer to the meaning of Swanee was nothing, and then it's like, hey, what about that? Someone handed me that. I'm like, hey, this is seriously sweet. So, is there anything that has a story behind it in your thing?
I bet. Are you in a band? You have band hair. Are you in a band?
Yeah, I've been in a couple of bands throughout my life.
What instrument do you play?
Well, I play a lot of different instruments actually. I started out on drums, and I played on this really, really crappy broken drum set that it didn't even have a kick pedal or anything. It had a couple of broken skins on it, and it was actually just this trashed drum kit that was in my buddy's garage, and he played electric guitar. And back in public school,
thanks, Chris.
I thought I'd like to try this stuff out, so I grabbed a cut off piece of a broom handle, and there was one broken stick that I found somewhere in the garage, and I started out playing like that and like hitting the drum kick with the broom handle and stuff. And for graduation, my parents got me a drum kit, like a really nice one with full on like all kinds of cymbals and everything else. And since then, I've just been in love with music. So
awesome.
I went from that to bass, and I learned some guitar along the way. I picked up violin, and I did old kind of fiddle tunes and stuff like that for a while. Got in some folk bands, and in university, I got into a rock band, and I created the rock band and like taught most of the people how to do it. Did all the promoting and got us some gigs throughout university, which was really cool. And now I'm just playing acoustic guitar. I've been doing kind of like Motown stuff.
I love
soul
Motown
type of music. I really think that's what's coming back. It's got a really, I love the soulful feeling of it. You know, you don't get that in a lot of the new music, and so.
I was just playing my records. It's still spinning, but the record ran out. But I'm playing Chuck Berry. I'm playing Chuck Berry right here on a little vintage turntable. See right here.
Nice.
That's another thing.
Rocking, girl.
I think
we're going to wrap up this edition of Fridays at 4. Zane and I
follow
are next Friday at 4. I really appreciate everybody and all the contributions. If you came in late, thanks for dropping by. And the recording is going to be there. We had some great conversations earlier about social media, social video, Periscope, Hangouts.
Yeah,
as well
thank
as,
you, John.
Why Blab is so amazing. Well, thank you, and you're welcome. And
I guess see everybody next week.
Yeah, I'll definitely see all you around. Hey, how do you hang this thing up, by the way?
Well, first end the recording, and then
you throw your computer out the window.